Technological inventions have changed the world tremendously. What Jahan Zahn probably had in mind while designing the first photograph was something that could be used to keep memories that would always remind people of what yesterday literally looked like, way better than imagination. 2 millenniums now after the first photograph was clicked, cameras could easily be put into just about anything. Cars, motorcycles, catching so many unbelievable incidents. Number 5. Shocking Afghanistan plane crash. A dashcam outside of Bagram airfield in Afghanistan captured a terrifying footage of 2013's crash of a civilian cargo plane, which led to the demise of all 7 people on board. It was a contractor-operated Boeing 747-400 carrying vehicles and other cargo. It does not appear to be under any sort of attack in the video. It only appears pitching at a terrifying angle before suddenly crashing outside of the vast airbase. It was operated by National Air Cargo Group and was carrying 207 tons of cargo, including 5 military vehicles, ambush-protected vehicles known as MRAPs. One was reported to have broken free, went through the bulkhead, and disabled 2 hydraulic systems, making the aircraft uncountable, possibly causing the horrible crash. Investigations found critical safety deficiencies, overloading to start with. The National Air Cargo failed to restrain the cargo. There was also inadequate Federal Aviation Administration oversight of cargo operator procedures and inspector training, as well as an unclear responsibility for the oversight of special cargo handling operations. The Wire provides a complete description of how the cargo could have possibly led to the crash. Airplanes should be carefully loaded to maintain the center of gravity within a carefully designed and tested zone of the plane. Cargo aircraft are usually loaded in a way that light things are put far away from the CG and heavier things are put closer to the CG. This means if the cargo inside the Boeing 747 broke loose during takeoff, it slid towards the tail, immediately shifting the center of gravity to the back of the plane. This would, in turn, cause the nose to suddenly rise and overcome the extremely high angle of the attack, the angle between the flow of air and the wing without sufficient power. This means the air flowing over the wings would detach from its normal flow and cause a stall where the wings are in a position to generate enough lift to keep the airplane airborne. Number 4. Woman killed by brick through windshield. This chilling footage captures a terrifying moment when a Calgary woman is hit by a rock that smashed through the windshield of her family vehicle. Wailing and screaming can be heard as the driver, the victim's husband, and the passengers learned what just happened. As seen in the footage, the brick is launched off the back of an oncoming truck on the highway in Rostov, Russia. The family, the victim's husband and kids, were traveling to northbound Subaru Legacy when the large piece of rock became dislodged from the truck. The rock went into the air, went down, and smashed through the window of the car, striking the 29-year-old Olga Gaikovich, inflicting a blow that sent her to her grave. The husband did not stop. He continued driving to the hospital, but realized along the way there was nothing he could do. The nearest hospital was 28 kilometers away. Traffic patrols went out looking for the track that caused the unimaginable accident and was found 47 kilometers south of where the incident took place. It was then seized and inspected. Investigators believed that the rock came from the back of the track, and it wasn't clear to them if the driver knew what had happened behind him. The driver, however, was taken into custody and released a while later. The 20-second clip was uploaded to LiveLeak in June of 2012 by a user from an alternative website, BestGore. Number 3. Policeman passed away in ammonia haze. As humans, we pride ourselves on the fact that we are a supportive race, one that stands strong and fights for freedom in our countries. When we hear this, our immediate thoughts are those men in the military, and rightly so. However, there's another group of men and women out there that face the same adversity and immediate danger that go unnoticed. These are the police officers, the men and women in blue, that serve and protect the civilians every single hour of every day. These people do their jobs just as honorably as those in the military and face dangers that cost them their lives, as it happened in a video caught on a dashboard camera posted on YouTube in 2010. In the video, the police officer drives to an accident scene. A A person lies down helplessly, seems to be struggling to move, while beside him a white vehicle which had just crashed is blowing fumes. The police officer then runs to help. A few moments in, he can be heard coughing as if he's struggling to cope with the fumes. Halfway through the video, the microphone starts cutting in and out. The rise and fall of the officer's chest is mentioned in the video to have caused this. He can be seen lying on the ground in the road. The dispatcher calls in, but he could not provide his status. An ambulance then arrives shortly, taking the two victims. However, a Reddit user once commented on the video, claiming it was a training video used by police academies to highlight the dangers of chemical spills and to train officers to avoid running into situations without first running an analysis on their status. Another Reddit user, going by the username Invidatus, wrote a comment stating that after an internet research, he found out that this was a training video by the Illinois State Police showing a trooper who had been overcome by anhydrous ammonia fumes while responding to what he believed to be nothing more than a routine traffic accident. The Illinois police, however, stand by their word that the video is real. Others have also pointed out in support with the staged training video, arguing that the police officer would have gone closer to the victim for so long without any visible signs of discomfort. For instance, complaining to the dispatcher his eyes were stinging or that he was having trouble breathing, all basic signs of ammonia.
That's the expedite. I'll be out of the car checking victims.
1222 10-4. 1261 Effingham, 1020.
Hey, 1261. I'm at South 51, just north of Vernon.
Buddy, hey, buddy.
1025 with 1222 at Dixon Gray Road.
Look out.
Assistance with 1052.
All fire out.
Information.
Number 2. Fort McCurry, Canada wildfire. The fire crews on patrol discovered the wildfire that eventually engulfed Fort McCurry on the 1st of May 2016 when it was just 2 acres in size. They immediately jumped out of the blaze, and within a few hours, 4 air tankers had been deployed. Despite their best efforts, a couple of hours after it was found, it had jumped to 60 acres. The Alberta Emergency Systems then warned people who lived in Fort McCurry's Gregoire neighborhood to prepare to evacuate on short notice. More than 80,000 residents were ordered to leave the city after shifting winds saw the blaze went from being largely in control to what the local fire chief described as a nasty and ugly inferno. The residents sat in bumper-to-bumper traffic, scrambling to make their way out of the city and struggling to gaze the road through the thick gray haze that blanketed the highway. Ashes rained down on the vehicles as fire licked on the road. At the same time, helicopters and air tankers flew overhead. Gas pumps soon ran dry, leaving the residents helpless and stranded overnight on the highway. Jordan Stufko said in an interview with the Canadian Press that with the heat from the oncoming smoke and flames, you could see many tornadoes forming in the road. He added the whole ordeal was something out of an apocalyptic movie. Days later, authorities warned that the hot, dry, windy weather would probably fuel the fire, stating that the worst of the fire was not over. They would still face very high temperatures with very low humidity and some very strong winds. Sean Brett, a resident who got the warning of the approaching fire from friends, told the Canadian Press he had time for nothing. He immediately jumped on his Harley motorcycle and made his way out, fighting his way through the smoke, literally driving through the flames, ashes hitting his face and feeling the burning heat from the fire that had covered his neighborhood. The fire was classified as being held for the first time on the 13th of June 2016 and classified as under control on the 4th of July 2016. It destroyed approximately 2,400 homes and buildings, spreading across approximately 590,000 acres. It continues to smolder and may only be fully extinguished during the spring of 2017. No official cause has been reported, but the most probable one is humans. Number 1. Trans-Asia Plane Fatal River Dive. A motorist's dashboard cam caught the last moments of a Trans-Asia Airway Flight GE235 plane as it careened past buildings, clipping a highway and crashed into a shallow stream after 3 minutes of taking off from Songsham Airport. On board were 58 passengers, at least 23 of them died. 14 of them died on the spot, and 9 succumbed to their injuries before arriving at the hospitals. David Learmount, an aviation expert, stated from the video footage, "It's clear that the plane was fully stalled. An aircraft usually stalls due to flying too slow to generate sufficient lift from its wings, and it begins to fall. If an aircraft is flying too slowly and level, it's normally because there's not enough power to keep the aircraft's speed up. The only question is why there was insufficient power in just 3 minutes from the plane's departure. At least 15 people survived the crash, among them a small child who was filmed being rescued. Trans-Asia offered its deep apology for the crash as it's faced with questions about its safety record.
基隆河是有涨潮一个情况，因此你可以看到呢，这个复兴航空在断了几节之后呢，这个有部分的机身，机头的部分呢是有埋在水里的状况，而且呢，现在水位呢似乎呢是有越来越高的一个情况，因此呢，消防队员是赶紧的来启动这个破坏锏，要来破坏这个窗户。您可以看到现场这个我们远调的画面里面可以看到消防队员他们。
Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to click that like button if you enjoyed it, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so.